My name is Nathan Morris, and this is Real Opinions. Hi, I'm Nathan Morris. I'm a director. I write and edit as well, and I am currently in Brooklyn, New York City, America.
How long have you been active in the industry?
Jeez, I'm old. 20 or more than 20 years. Let's just say more than 20 years, less than 50.
20 years plus.
But I'd say 24, 25 years.
Okay, and have you always been in the same role that you're working in now?
No way. No way, Jose.
What have you been doing?
So I started, my first job was a dream job. Like, I was so lucky. I'm from New Zealand, and I was from this cable company came over to New Zealand, and they started this community TV channel. And it was just before 2000, like 98, 99. And basically they gave a bunch of us a camera, a car, and an edit suite, and you had to share them. We had to make four-minute stories a year. So I was a videographer, and I made these stories, and I discovered if I made stories about artists, it was really easy and it was really great. So I'd go out and I made terrible work. It was like Wayne's World, but no one watched it, especially with my hair. So I did that, and that was a great learning curve. And then I got better at that, and then I found that a little frustrating because you were very limited in what you could do. But it was a great experience. Went into full-time editing. When editing was kind of like you knocked before you walked into an edit suite. You needed a huge computer. I almost said old man. I think of him as my second father. His name's Poe. He's one of New Zealand's sort of premier documentary editors. He's a very dear man, and he taught me how to edit. And then I flew over to London, and I was doing a bit of directing for New Zealand at the same time. And I was like, I can do a bit of everything. They're like, no, you can't. So I ended up editing in London for quite a while. Editing, I don't want to brag, but Robot Wars.
Nice.
And Tonight with Trevor McDonald a few times, and all sorts of things. I've done everything, and then managed to talk myself into directing Pop World, which was really fun, and doing music stuff and then entertainment and branded content. So I've done a lot of different things.
No, it sounds like it. It's like a whistle-stop tour.
Yeah, I try and keep it short, so it's probably I see people nodding off, and I'm like, sorry.
It's great though, but and do you feel like all of that experience filters into directing?
100%. It's I sort of forget what I've done sometimes, and I look back, so I feel like I've had a couple of lifetimes already in a really good way. And yeah, the experience, especially editing, like you're like, oh, we've got it. You move on, and people are like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, I'm not, but like 70% of the time, maybe higher, maybe lower, but like I was right, because you know when you've got it, and it's really helpful when you're really rushed and stressed, and you're like, that will cut, that will work, I can make that work. Yeah, super helpful.
And when you're writing, do you kind of find that you have to take the editing hat off, or is that something that actually is quite key to help you kind of keep a script quite tight, is that you're thinking as an editor at the same time? That's
a good question. I don't think I think about editing at all when I'm writing. I'm so trying to get the characters right and believable and real that I don't even, I'm surprised. I don't even think about it. I sort of envisage it in my head when I've got the characters sussed, but weird.
So what's the best piece of advice anyone's ever given you?
The best, I don't know if it's advice, but what I've seen is people that have just failed and been really confident in their failures. Like I remember my friend made a short film and it wasn't very good. And I was like, what was that like? And he said, I learned so much. 3 years later, his short film won Sundance. So just like, and I remember this interview with Mike Myers. He did a really kind of a crappy film called The Love Guru or something. And he was saying how much, and the reporter was kind of being snide. And they were like, so you screwed this up. How do you feel? And he was like, I don't screw it up. It's not a great film, but I love the process. I love every moment. And it's not about it being amazing. It's about learning and doing the thing. And he's had so many successes too. But so I think like the best bit of advice I've seen over and over is just fail. Like, don't be afraid of failing and like, but it's learning, isn't it? But it's learn in a really tough way. But I think that, I mean, I'm an expert at it now.
You own it. That's the thing.
Yeah, as long as you can look at it, back at it constructively and be like, well, that taught me this, that taught me that. Let's move forward.
So on the flip side, what's the worst piece of advice you've been given?
I tend not to listen to fools, but I just walk away, or I've got a really terrible memory. So I just, whatever. But what I've seen, I remember reading online, someone talking about reading bad scripts and looking at bad films to figure out how to make good films. I was just like, you twat. Like, that's just dumb. Like, I think that's really bad advice. I do see a lot of blind leading the blind out there. I think it's really important to look at who you're getting advice from, case in point. Yeah, and people tend to like blindly follow someone on a forum because they write something down. But yeah, read bad scripts, I think, is just dreadful advice.
But also as well, like script stage is so different to the shoot, it's different to the edit. I think, I mean, obviously you can tell when something's written, it's very on the nose because, it's too expositional and stuff, but kind of feel sometimes it depends on the performances too, which you don't see until you're actually shooting.
100%. Yeah, it can be really different from what's on the page and then the tone and everything. But then I think that's a good script, or you'd be surprised it's a good film and a good product, or whatever you want to call it, film. And then you'd be, I don't know, it's kind of surprising to see the script was worked into that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely. Absolutely.
There's so many bad scripts.
Is there a place or location that you've always wanted to make a film?
Yeah, I don't think so. All I care about is story. So if I wrote a story I was drawn to, it would dictate where it's shot. I would love to I'm trying to get a film made that's about New Zealand in the 80s. Well, not about New Zealand, but it's set in New Zealand in the 1980s. And that's a pretty funny time in New Zealand. So I'd love to do that. So travel back in time a little bit to the suburbs of my roots.
What other role in the industry do you have utmost respect for?
Well, that's a good question. All of them? Like, we really are a team. Like, producers, you need them. Editors, I know how important they are. The heads of departments, costume, like music. I think I have the utmost respect for all of them, really. If they're good, like if you're good at it. I mean, if you're shit, you're shit.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe who's the unsung hero in the film industry?
Well, it depends whose perspective you're looking from, because most people, well, like, actors are so amazing. You're like, yes, they are, but it's the writers. Well, it's both. For me, it seems very obvious, but composers and music, it really guides the emotion and can change emotion so much. You have a scene and put one bit of music behind it, and then a different one, and the scene completely changes. So good music sets the tone, and sound design it's probably my sound's probably my first love. So that's what those guys, they're amazing, and you finish a cut and then you get good sound on it, and it just elevates it.
Tell us about one of your favorite festival experiences.
Quite recently, I think, Slamdance. I was there with My Eyes Are Up There. The people were just lovely, really good vibes, not pretentious. It was like being at a really nice wedding. Everyone was like, hi, how do you know the groom? It was like, hi, what's your film? Everyone was really outgoing, but in a nice way, so it can be a bit much. And I only suffered 70% imposter syndrome as opposed to 90, but it just felt really comfortable. I felt like I sort of found my people in a way, and everyone was at a similar, to me, it seemed like everyone was at a similar level. Sometimes if you go to a bigger festival, you're like, whoa, I can't make that. But this was like people, and you could see so much potential in everyone. There was just like, oh, you're going to be big. So that was a really lovely experience. I really enjoyed it.
How would you describe yourself to a stranger who you met on a park bench?
I hate describing myself, but New Zealanders aren't taught to self-promote, or we weren't. I think it's changing. A funny thought, I don't like describing myself. I mean, I don't know. Funny thought. No, I can't. People would be like, you're not thoughtful. I'd just be like, I'm a filmmaker. Here we go. Try and give you something fresh. I'm a filmmaker that enjoys like really looking into people's lives and telling other people's stories, and I try and do it in a funny way, I think. But I'm not comfortable describing myself, really. I don't think it's up to me to define who I am.
What makes you get up in the morning?
you just want to make the most out of every moment, don't you? So you just get up and get on with it. I mean, that's not a pretty answer, isn't it? But I have like little mini goals. I used to call my film company Eating Elephant Films. It's like, how do you eat an elephant? Lots of small bites. So I'm quite task orientated. So I have a little task to do and just get on with it. Just like, yeah, just doing stuff, making films. Just got to do it.
Do you have tasks every day, or do you give yourself a day off?
Not every day. I do give myself days off. I feel really angsty if I don't set myself tasks. It's really hard. I've got to say it's pretty hard, but I feel today, for instance, I started writing down all the things I've done. Like I did that. So I tend to forget, and just to have that list of like, oh, cool, I'm actually doing shit.
What do you want people to feel like when they've watched your work?
It depends on the film, but generally, I want people to feel like they've learned something, like, or they just look at something from a different perspective. And I want them to laugh. My goal was always to make people laugh and cry at the same time or in the same film. Like, I really want people to connect, see something of themselves in it, and then see a lot of things that aren't them and have a better understanding, but not in a lofty, preachy way. Just being like, oh, wow, that's cool. Yeah, just to, that's it really.
When was the last time you felt proud?
I recently got into a film festival that I'm really chuffed about. I'm really excited about, and I feel really proud about that.
Who or what is your inspiration, and has it changed over the years?
I think the things that inspire me change quite a lot, but I remember I got out of watching Seven Psychopaths, which is a film about a filmmaker, and I was like, I need to start writing, I need to start doing it, and just went for it. So seeing other films, and like I watched The Fabelmans recently, and there were bits of that thematically that match like the script I'm trying to get made now, and I just find that encouraging. And I'm like, oh, cool. And if I see something, an idea I've had, I see someone else making it, I kind of love that. If it's not a huge idea, I'm like, oh, that's cool. It means I'm thinking the right way. So just seeing other people doing things. I think the Daniels, what they've done recently, was incredible. I accidentally followed them their whole careers because I keep finding music videos back in the day, and I was like, this is great. Oh, it's made by those guys. Oh, this is great. Made by those guys. And then they made a film about someone who couldn't stop farting, and they'd use them as a boat. And then I had my fart film. So I find that really inspiring and just great that they've done it. And just, yeah, a lot of things.
What is people's biggest misconception about you?
My face. I think, well, that's case in point. I joke around a lot because I deflect things. So people think I can be a bit jokey, whereas I'm not really underneath it. Like it's a thin layer, and people don't, and they'll see a guy with long hair and like a bright shirt, and you can't help but judge someone on their appearance. I do it, you do it, everyone does it. So I think people don't realize that I'm very serious about things, but I like to have fun while I'm doing it, So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah, no, yes, because I thought about it for ages.
Are you an early worm or a night owl?
I used to be late, now I'm early. Get up and get on with it.
Do your parents understand what you do as a job?
No way. They haven't got a clue.
If you were not working in film, what would you be doing instead?
I would be a dancer.
What kind of dancer?
Contemporary, jazz, street, usual.
Do you still dance now?
Often.
In public?
No.
Behind closed doors?
I'll dance in public if I get paid for it. I don't believe you should pay to dance to play. So people should be paying to see me dance. So
if film had a spirit animal, what would it be?
If film had a spirit animal?
Yeah.
It'd be a mythical creature, I think, like a dragon with a unicorn horn, and just maybe a changeling. It could change into different things. It's too big to be one thing. It's everything.
That's quite a concoction, though. I mean, that kind of covers all bases.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think film does.
Do you collect anything?
No, I used to, as a child, collect chewing gum. Chewed. I have a really gross story.
Please tell.
I used to bunk bed, top bunk, and I had 4 pillars, and I would chew it, put it on one to the next post of the bed, and then I'd be like Pac-Man. I was like 6. And I also almost strangled myself with it once, wrapping it around my neck.
Well, that's pretty strong chewing gum.
It was a big like I'd chew a bit and then add to it and then add to it. And I had this bowl that my parents gave me called a chewing gum saver. Again, I was 6 and they're lovely parents. And so it kind of hurt to chew, but I was like, oh. And yeah, it was pretty big.
Which of the 5 senses is your strongest?
Well, I've lost a bit of my hearing because I used to play the drums, but I'd say like hearing because I'm most aware. I hear things well, I think.
Is in like you can hear music, or like, you know, like when you're listening to music you can tune in to like different parts, or is it like sound as in like you can hear conversations the other side of the room?
I can hear conversations from the other side of the room and I hate it. It gives me anxiety sometimes. I'm like, ugh, and I have to like really concentrate on who I'm talking to. But in music, I can easily pick out what's doing what and like sort of analyze it. It's partly why I like it so much. So you can enjoy it as a whole. You can hear it or you can listen to it.
I saw that you picked up drumsticks again recently.
Yeah, I love it. I miss it a lot. But screw being a musician.
What's your drink of choice when working on set?
Whiskey. No, sorry, I'll do a serious. Coffee.
And how do you take your coffee?
I don't care when I'm shooting. Like, just give me the coffee. It's basically I'm having caffeine. You have to moderate it. Be careful you don't peak at the wrong time or anything like that. But just I just need like if I'm generally I'm quite like quick on set, so I'm just like give me the coffee. I haven't got time for the milk, sort of thing. I prefer to have milk, but I don't care. Just give me the coffee.
And how many is too many?
Depends on the shoot day. 6, 7's too many. I'll just constantly drink, depending on the scene. Because everyone on set feeds off your energy, which is exhausting. And if you don't have the energy at the set, you have to be careful with it. That's exhausting.
I suppose I never thought about that you are kind of the ringleader. So your energy levels have got to be at peak.
Yeah, if you're having a bad day, the shoot will be a bad day. So you've just got to like get up, lose that and think about the moment and bring everyone's energy to where you want it to be. Apart from a few heads of departments, you can be like walk around the corner and cry on their shoulder because they understand. And then you're back up, yeah, let's do this.
It's like sending the clowns, kind of like, you know.
Exactly. But yeah, but people do feed on set very much of your energy, I find. Yeah.